Okay, guys, so we're going live now. Okay, guys, so we're going live on all platforms. We're going live right now on YouTube as well. We're going to go live in a bit on other platforms. We've been really productive today with uh, the streaming, and we're doing part two of, uh, you know, preparing for the worst. Preparing for the worst part two. So I see a lot of people are jumping in now. That's a wonderful experience for coming in. This is part two of the meeting, and uh, and I'm going to be sharing. Um, so I'm going to be sharing, and here we are. Instagram, what's your vibe? Instagram, tell us what you're thinking. Okay, Instagram, let's go. Right. So we are almost there. One last click. We are live, we are live, we are live. So I'm going to be touching base on a few things uh, in continuation from part one of uh, preparing for the worst. So it's a good thing. Welcome to everybody who's joining us for the first time. This is part two of preparing for the worst. This is part two of preparing for the worst, living a restricted life. We are in a restricted season right now where we're being told to be, in our houses, lockdown, president telling you you can't go to the mall, you can't go to the beach, you can't go to the sea, you can't go to the park, you can't go to the club, you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go anywhere. You can't even go to school in some countries. So I know I've got forex traders around the world that are wondering, Mr. Louis, what can we do to prepare for the aftermath? What can we do to prepare for the aftermath of COVID-19? Like we can see that COVID-19 is affecting society, affecting us. I'm getting messages, now almost every few hours, people are dying, that people that other people know, they're passing away because of COVID-19. So this is a very serious matter, ladies and gentlemen. So let's not take it lightly, and let's prepare as usual. Let's prepare for the worst and the best. Okay, doesn't mean that if other people are dying, you're gonna die. Doesn't mean none of that, none of that. So I see a lot of people jumping in now. We are live on all these platforms, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I just want to see uh, you guys enjoying the fruits of this particular forex season, and I'm going to be giving you guys tips. Who can remember what I was talking about earlier? Who can remember? Who can remember? I was talking about 5G. I was talking about forex. I was talking about the grocery store. How the grocery stores are going to change. Okay, they're gonna introduce a new type of grocery store. And I also told you guys about cashless society. How in China right now they don't even use cash anymore. And a lot of people around the world don't even know that China doesn't even use cash anymore. They're using a digital cryptocurrency backed by the government, and they've been using this thing for about 2 years right now. And a lot of people are still in the dark about this kind of stuff, and they don't know that this is a preparation for the next fourth industrial revolution. What is the fourth industrial revolution, someone might say? uh, the fourth industrial revolution is like AI, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, 5G. Everything's going to happen 10 times faster, self-driving cars. So you're not even going to be having Uber drivers in the future. The governments are going to actually eradicate that whole industry. They're going to say, okay, listen, the government's taking over Uber. Okay, from now on, Uber belongs to us. And from now on, what you got to do is you got to get into this car, and there's no driver in the car, but the car can get you home safely. But you got to pay us the money. So there's going to be this planning of a one world government, because the governments of the world are going to realize that when they operate individually, it's actually a bigger mess. So they're going to try and consolidate. They're going to try and consolidate the stress and the effect of COVID-19. So there's going to be like an introduction to say, okay, already right now, when it comes to the vaccination of people using COVID-19, there is a council where all the countries in the world are beginning to share vaccine. Okay, that's just an introduction, a preparation of what's going to come. That's just a preparation of what's going to come. Why? Because we're preparing for the worst. Okay, so the world is going to try and bring a couple solutions that are going to unify the world. They're going to even try and say, okay, fine, let's not even use different currencies. Let's use one currency. And that's when they're going to say, okay, fine, let's put all these presidents on one table and decide what the world must do based on what we say. And that is why I'm saying to you, we're preparing for the worst, because that's going to really upset a lot of everyday people who are going to be like, okay, I don't think this makes sense for me. I don't feel like following the law. And then you're going to find kind of a situation. If any of you have watched the movie The Joker, you're going to see, a lot of revolutionary groups popping out of nowhere. You're going to find a lot of people, formalizing their own militia, gathering their own weapons and gathering their own territory. That's where we're going. Man. We're going to that region where people are going to be like, "Ish, I don't like what this government is doing. I don't like the fact that they're injecting me with an injection every single 2 weeks because there's a new version of COVID-19. So actually, I'm okay. I don't have COVID-19. I would rather strap a gun on me and strap some ammo on me, and I'm gonna get my friends, and we're gonna go get a farm, and we're gonna protect that place, and we don't want anything to do with society. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of people leaving the cities. That's another thing. Let me remind you that. Okay, write that down. You guys, I need to know whether you're on with me. Write that down. Point number nine is people will begin to leave the cities because there will not be any particular activity taking place in the city that will produce income or produce money. Okay, a lot of people who are dependent on income are dependent for moving from rural areas to the city. So when they move to the city now, there's no longer jobs. The city is in a harder lockdown than the rural areas. And in the rural areas, there's more of a desire to be free and a desire to, plant your own food, grow your own things. And farming is going to be a big thing. Agriculture is going to be a big thing, because there's going to be a shortage of food. There's already a shortage of food reaching the cities because of suppliers. So why don't you just grow your own food? And we've seen this in a couple of movies all over the world throughout history when, whenever there's like a global World War Z or whatever, when there's aliens rocking up into that planet from other planets into the earth, people then disappear from the cities, because the cities are just meant to be temporary. I mean, you can see it during the festive season when people leave the city to go back to their families in different areas, whether they're going to Limpopo or going to KZN or going to Eastern Cape. You get a lot of people who just, they go back home, Bloemfontein, all these people. This is just South Africa. And I know that it happens all over the world. There's a lot of people, because why? I'm in finance, and finance obviously involves remittance. And remittance is when you work in a foreign land and you send people money back home so that they can survive. Whether you've got kids there or a wife there or family there, parents there, they need money because you gotta, wherever you are living at right now in your home, there's no jobs. Okay, there's no jobs. So you gotta go to the city and look for a job or create a business where there's traffic, where there's economic activity. So I'm giving you that tip over there. So the other tip that I'm going to give you guys is that you're going to see obviously a plethora of independent online communities. What do I mean by that? you're going to get a lot of people who build their own social networks. I told you about that in part 1, that there's new social networks that are going to come about. Why? Because of all the censorship that's going to take place on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. There's going to be all these platforms now where you actually have to use a private VPN to access them, like different web browsers. There's going to be different online blogging platforms which don't censor you, where you're going to use. So a lot of people are going to move over to the dark web. I mean, I'm telling you this from an internet experience. I'm an IT guy. I've been in IT for a long time. A lot of people, especially journalists are going to be very, very much affected in the new world order. Okay, why do I mean by that? Propaganda, number 10. Write that down. Write that down. Can somebody type there on Zoom? Type there, propaganda. And please, if you're on Facebook, please share this video with your friends. Share it, press the share button so that we can make more people aware. We're preparing for the worst. Living in a restricted world. Part of living in a restricted world, we can see it with the banning of Donald Trump on all social media platforms, that they're going to start with high profile people and then they're going to work their way down to the little guy. They're going to make sure that you, the little guy, don't have anything to say, like what I'm saying now, making other people aware of what is going on. You can see that happen during the life of Hitler. Even during the times of Jesus, no one was able to preach the gospel. It was illegal to preach the gospel. And back then, the gospel was called the way. And Christianity, you were not allowed to have a Bible. They will kill you. Even right now in China, you're not allowed to carry a Bible. You are not allowed to preach Jesus. You're not allowed to have a Christian church because it's anti-socialism, anti-colonialism. It's anti the way of living like sheep. Okay, they want to control your way of thinking, and propaganda will be huge. So journalists will have to move over to the dark web. And the dark web, simply, if you don't know what the dark web is, it's another website portal. It's another website domain where you can access the internet without anyone else being able to trace you or to block your website or block your access to it. So there's something called the dark web. One of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin became so popular was because of a website that was on the dark web called the Silk Road. So that website called the Silk Road was really popular with criminals. Okay, a lot of people who were selling drugs, guns, ammunitions, pretty much anything illegal. Whatever they were selling it on this website called the Silk Road, and it made a whole lot of money for people because why? They were able to transact anonymously, privately, without being traced. Okay, so you would use a specific web browser called the Onion web browser, and then from there you'd access a search engine, which is like Google, called DuckDuckGo. So DuckDuckGo is like a very private search engine, which is like Google, but it doesn't index information the way Google indexes. Google indexes only publicly available information. DuckDuckGo indexes information that is off the grid, which is off the public domain. It is in the private domain. So if you want to connect your website to the DuckDuckGo platform, then the search engine can allow people to find you. But you need to use a specific web browser called the Onion web browser. So when you check, you can Google this stuff. Go check out the Onion web browser and the DuckDuckGo, like a duck, like an animal, a DuckDuckGo search engine. So that search engine allows you to access websites which are, having private information. And right now it's being used for a lot of illegal activity. Like I said, the Silk Road was a website that was running on this platform, and Bitcoin was the major currency. That's how Bitcoin gained a lot of traction in the beginning. A lot of people don't know that Bitcoin was used for illegal purposes in the beginning, mostly. People would access the website and then from there order maybe marijuana or cocaine or crystal meth or whatever they would order on the platform. And then you would basically send the website the money in the form of Bitcoins. And then only if the person received the package in the post or in the mail or in whatever method of delivery you used, if the person, only when that person received the package and could prove that they received it, could then release the funds, which would be the Bitcoin, over to you. So then you'd receive the Bitcoin. And then this generated a couple $1 billion worth of transactions until the FBI managed to find the founder of that website and arrested him. He's currently serving 2 life sentences in the United States of America. But that is not the point of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the power of digital communities that are going to be isolated away from the public domain. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? So there has to be some sort of a freedom of speech outlet. Okay. And the beautiful thing is that is why I feel like there was a breakthrough in technology when it comes to blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is what we call decentralized computers. So basically, it's kind of like you cannot shut down the internet. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devices running in my house right now, or 6 devices running in my house right now that are connected to the internet, right? So if I've got 6 devices right now, they're all accessing the internet. I can run a website, my own private social network on each device, because each device is a computer. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with me or not, a cell phone is a computer, okay? It's a mobile computer. Okay, so it has a hard drive, so you can load files on that computer, and as long as you have an internet connection, people can download your information. Why? For instance, right now, I'm accessing you guys through a decentralized platform, which is the internet, right? So my phone is sending you an image, a photo in real time, and you are all over the world. But through Instagram, it's a point of reference. We can meet there. My phone and your phone communicates. Similar to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a decentralized online chatting software. And right now, a lot of you have jumped over from WhatsApp onto Telegram and Signal. Why? Because you heard the news that on the 8th of February, if you don't accept the terms and conditions that WhatsApp and Facebook want to access all your information on your phone, and you have no choice, basically, then you are blocked from WhatsApp. So right now, everybody's moving over to Telegram and Signal. I think I got about 50 notifications today of friends of mine who have jumped over from WhatsApp and moved over to Telegram. So this whole preparing for the worst thing, it's already taking place behind the scenes. But a lot of people are not picking it up. A lot of people are not really understanding what is actually happening in the world. But I'm telling you this from a Forex perspective. This is what's going to happen from a Forex perspective. You're going to be seeing, before this whole thing takes place, before the worst takes place, you're going to be seeing very violent volatility in the market. So you're going to be seeing the US dollar to the ZAR fluctuating like nobody's business. You're going to be seeing Bitcoin going up like crazy. So we can expect Bitcoin price to reach about $300,000 a coin this year. And that is going to help a lot of people, okay? And the reason why Bitcoin is going to soar so much is because COVID-19 is going to get so bad. So when COVID-19 gets so bad, everyone's going to be like, okay, there's no other way to make money except for Bitcoin and Forex. So Bitcoin and Forex are going to be huge in this whole 2021, 2022 lockdown season, because the virus is going to spread exponentially. Okay, they're going to come up with different variants of this vaccine. Why? Because let me tell you something. I want to ask you a question. They said that COVID-19 came directly from Wuhan, China, right? So if the virus came from Wuhan, China, in those pig farms and all those animal cages and all that stuff, and then it spread through a flu, and then those people got sick, and then China got, why aren't people in China dying? Number one, the way other people are dying in other countries. Because why China has blocked off this whole thing, okay? They've blocked it off from their country. No one is allowed in. They don't want anyone to investigate anything. Number two, how is it that if China has no one dying and China has nothing spreading, that there's a version 2 of the virus coming from different areas of the world? How can it mutate? How can a virus mutate out of thin air? This is why it is so apparent to everybody that this virus is man-made. This virus is being influenced and inflicted. It's airborne. At the end of the day, there is a way that these people are manipulating the system to spread this thing in the air. You might not even know that right now you're inhaling COVID-19. Why? Because there's nothing stopping them from spraying this thing into the air. Because at the end of the day, how is it growing so fast if we're all wearing masks? Okay, let's say, for instance, in the beginning, when it took place, in the beginning, it wasn't spreading as this fast, but all of a sudden, we all wearing masks. Back then, we weren't wearing masks, but right now, we're all wearing masks, and all of a sudden, it's spreading more and more and more and more and more. Why? It's because this thing is airborne. There's nothing you can do, especially in the cities. These people are pumping this thing in some way, shape, or form into the air, and they've actually figured it out. And there was a video, which I have, of Bill Gates saying that, we are definitely going to feel it in the second version of this virus. I mean, he literally said it. And there's nothing that people are saying about blocking whatever Bill Gates is saying. If you go onto Google or YouTube right now and you Google COVID-19 Bill Gates, you'll find over 50 interviews of Bill Gates being interviewed on the biggest media platforms where he's discussing how he's going to mess up the whole entire world. He's discussing how he's going to shrink the population of the human race because why? He believes that there's too many people on the planet. Okay, and that is just ridiculous. That is just messed up. Okay, and the beautiful part of it is every time this guy speaks, he's got a grin on his face, he's smiling, his wife is sitting next to him, she's smiling, she's happy, they're all happy. Why? Because they tried to release the same thing a few years ago through Ebola in Africa, and it just didn't work out. God was on our side. And the same thing is happening now where they're trying to release COVID-19 heavily into Africa, and it's not working. It will not work because our immune systems are just too strong. It's going to get to a point whereby when they pump this thing in the air, it's going to get caught out. And when it does get caught out, hey, people are going to get in trouble. And that is where I believe when they no longer have a cover, when they no longer can't hide, that's where they're going to be like really hard on us. They're going to now say, listen, let's go full throttle on this thing. Let's pump it hard. We don't even care anymore. Let's just pump it because why? They found out that we are the people who are behind this. And the moment they found, let me tell you something. The president was online right now, and he said that we're going to need 1.1 billion capsules of COVID-19 vaccine. 1.1 billion capsules. Are you kidding me right now? Multiply 1.1 billion by $35. Let's say one vaccination costs $35. Do you think our governments are going to be able to afford that particular vaccine? Do you think they're going to fit the bill for that vaccine? No, they're going to tell you, listen, it's by law. You need to get this thing. The same way you need to get a license to drive a car, the same way you need to get a passport to travel overseas, you're going to need a vaccine to move around freely, and you got to pay for it. And 1.1 billion. Okay, we can do the mathematics. Okay, let me open my calculator over here and we can do the mathematics. Okay, here's my phone. Okay, let's just use this. Okay, we're going to use a money calculator. Otherwise, this one's not going to be able to handle it. Okay, so let's go $35 for a vaccine, right? Let's say it's $35 for a vaccine, okay? $35 per person, right? So if we do a calculation and say it's $35 per vaccine, let's look at how much Bill Gates and all these buddies are making. Okay, $35 multiplied by 1.5 billion just for Africa alone, okay? 1.5 billion, okay? This is 1.5 million. This is 150 million. This is 1.5 billion, okay? So 100, 15, 150, okay, one more, okay, there you go, 9 zeros, okay? So as you can see there, $35 multiplied by 1.5 billion, $35 multiplied by 1.5 billion, okay, there you go. Okay, let's press the enter button, okay? So we just press enter button, that is $500 billion, right? $500 billion for you right there on just one particular vaccine. We're gonna be making these folks one injection. I'm not talking about you're gonna get vaccinated for the third version, second version, fourth version, fifth version, 24th version of COVID-19. I'm talking about them just saying you need, because let me tell you something, before they kill people in numbers, they're gonna milk them for their money. And then once they've made it in phases, once they've made their $500 billion from the first wave, they're going to now make a stronger version of COVID-19, and then they're going to make another vaccine. And then that stronger version is going to slowly depopulate people. So it's going to kill more people, but in the process, it's going to make them money. Does everybody understand what is happening behind the scene right here? And I'm gonna save this, brother. You're gonna see a lot of these videos coming up with. I'm gonna be explaining to you guys how you should particularly protect yourself during this season. You need the protection, ladies and gentlemen. You need to understand that without COVID-19 vaccination, these people can't become the richest people in the world. They're not like Elon Musk. They are not like, smart computer people who can come up with something else. No, Bill Gates has been working on this stuff for 20 years. He's been retired from Microsoft for 20 years. There's no way this guy has been sitting around doing nothing. He's been researching, going to every major sick country and figuring out which is the disease that kills the most people. And he figured out that flu is the most fastest spreading virus that can go. All we have to do is make it stronger. We have to take the influenza that once upon a time killed almost 1 million people when influenza was around. Now, they're gonna now take influenza and put it on steroids. They're gonna take influenza and put it on jet fuel, okay? And once they take that virus and put it on jet fuel, they're gonna kill people in stages, okay? They're not gonna want to kill people at once like a bomb. Remember, this is not. Everybody used to know that there's going to be World War III. This is World War III, ladies and gentlemen. You thinking World War III is going to be one big fight? No, it's going to be one big virus, okay? Chemical warfare. They're pumping this thing out into the air so that you can breathe it in every day. There is no way it can stop you. That is why people are dying irrespective of whether they're wearing a mask or not. That is why they're saying go indoors, go indoors, go indoors. Why? They want to see you suffer. They want to see you pay their bills and make them a ton of money because they've invested in all these companies before. Go and check all the companies Warren Buffett and Bill Gates have invested in. They've invested in all the vaccinating making companies. Your Pfizer, your Johnson & Johnson, they own those companies, my friend. So you have no say in what you're going to do to prevent this thing, except if you prepare for the worst. That is why I'm saying this is Prepare for the Worst Part 2. And I'm going to be doing Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, up to Part 10. And I'm going to be focusing on each and every single master plan that these guys are coming up with. So over the next few days, make sure that you participate with me. Over the next 10 days, I'm going to be exposing all the things that these people are doing, and I'm going to be exposing all the things that they plan to do, okay? So there's a big plan that they have. They're doing this thing in phases, okay? And they're going to be using 5G, right, okay, to control the world. That is one thing that they need the most. They need faster internet connectivity. Why? So that they can build a digital currency economy. Okay, they want you to sit in your house day in, day out, doing nothing but sitting on your computer like this on Instagram, working for them. That is what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be on lockdown. The only time you're going to be going outside is if you're going to go get a vaccination or if you're going to go outside and get some food at the grocery store. And I told you what kind of grocery stores we're going to have in the future. You're not even going to be able to touch anything in the store. They're going to make sure that you just go into the store and scan your hand, and all of a sudden there from there, or scan your phone, and then from there you're just going to buy your stuff because they're going to say you're going to spread virus, or there's not going to be any cash for doing whatever. So then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. As long as the truth is known, as long as some people will be saved from this thing, that's all that matters. I'm not afraid. This is freedom of speech. I'm not afraid of whatever anyone's going to say as a result of this. It has to happen because whether the devil likes it or not, we're all going to die one day. But we got to stop these people from doing wicked things in the world. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. You might be in America, Africa, Asia. You might be anywhere in the world. All I'm saying to you is, guys, be careful. Right now, if you're not going to prepare, mostly what I'm concerned about is your financial status. Give me 1 second so I can charge my phone. The number one thing I'm concerned about for all you guys, is your safety in terms of finances. Because why? There's nothing worse than being locked up in your house. Let me tell you the worst case scenario. This is number 11, starvation. Okay, worldwide starvation is going to take place. Okay, let me tell you something. If you are now told to stand in your house, sit in your house all day, every day, and you're not allowed to go anywhere, yeah, you caught into between a rock and a hard place. You told you have to vaccinate. Now, you don't want to vaccinate. They told you if you're not vaccinated, you can't leave the house. Number 2, and if you're vaccinated, you're only allowed to go here, here, and here. And if you go here, we arrest you, we put you in jail. Okay, we put you in a locked up place. Then from there, if you go into if you go into your house, you're not allowed to move, right? So your kids are going to be all frustrated. Your mom's going to be all frustrated. Your dad's going to be frustrated. Your dog's going to be frustrated. Your wife's going to be frustrated. Everybody's going to be at each other's necks. But you're going to be forced to be on internet, right? They're going to give you 5G. Okay, 5G, you have access to 5G. You can only work from home. Then from there, once they say to you, you can only sit at home, this is where they're going to now force you. Okay, what did I say is number 11? What did I say is number 11? Tell me, remind me, what did I say is number 11? What did I say? What did I say is number 11? Type there. I want to see if you guys are listening. What did I say is number 11? Type there for me right now. Type for me right now. What did I say is number 11? What did I say? This is part 2 of preparing for the worst. Okay, we're preparing for the worst. Forex traders, what did I say is number 11? Type it there in the chat. Type it there in the chat. Type it there in the chat. Starvation. Starvation. I told you it's a hunger. Okay, now imagine you're stuck in your house. You got no job. You told you can't go outside. You told you can't. You have to be vaccinated. Now you got no money. Okay, you got no money. Then they're gonna tell you, okay, fine. If you want money, you gotta access your computer and go on this website, and you gotta do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Basically, they're gonna employ people to work for the New World Order. They're gonna employ people to be agents, okay, spies. So anyone who tries to come up with another way of doing things, they're gonna say, tell us if there's anybody. They're gonna have a monitoring system. They're going to have an international monitoring system of people who are trying to become like revolutionaries, similar to what happened during apartheid when you had the MK veterans and you had Nelson Mandela and his people, and the government, the Afrikaans government was telling people, listen, you have to stay not voting, living in racist country and all that jazz. You have to carry your ID wherever you go. They're going to bring that whole system back. And when they bring that whole system back, people are going to begin to die from hunger. Why? Because there won't be any food. Because you can't farm, because when you're farming, you're catching the virus, you're spreading the virus, so there's not enough food. So this is just one big sabotage. And guess what? The people who are doing this whole master plan behind the scenes, they own farms, they own acres and hectares and miles and miles and miles and miles of farmland. And they're gonna make their own food. They don't have a problem. But what they want to do, they want to hijack Africa. Okay, their aim is to hijack Africa and make it one big plantation where they're going to make all their food. So they want to eradicate the majority of people in Africa. This is going back to colonialism. Okay, back in the days when the British Empire was spreading all over the world. They got to South Africa, they found the diamonds, then they started causing war, killing the Zulu people, killing the Ndebele people, killing the Swati people, killing all the people around, and then putting them in concentration camps. So they were building these things called townships. Some people are still living in townships today because 400 years ago, people came from Europe into Africa to put people in quarantine. They quarantined them and they segregated them by nation, by culture, by all that other stuff. Okay, so now what they want to do is a similar thing, but now you're going to be locked up in your own home. Okay, they're going to lock you up in your own home, and if you leave your home, there's going to be your neighbor who's going to be snitching on you, telling them, and they're going to be rewarded for snitching on the other person. So there will be no trust in society. There will be no loyalty. It will be a very, very, very perilous time because people will become very desperate. Okay, let's put it this way: Have you not had food with your entire family for 1 week straight? I haven't, but I can only imagine what kind of stress I would be in if I had no other way. Okay, and for instance, in Africa, we're already in a situation right now. If we don't have a divine intervention, a financial revival, a miraculous way that we can revive the economy of Africa in prevention of this thing, these guys are going to come in like a pack of wolves. They're going to come in, they're going to spread this virus. They're going to make sure that this virus is spreading, it's on point, and they're going to start putting restrictions on the president, telling him, no, you know what, as we are the World Society Council of COVID, we suggest that what is working in our country is we tell people to stay at home. And we think you should do the same. And if you don't do the same, we won't give you vaccine. Whoa. All of a sudden, governments don't have a choice but to accept anything that they are told. Because why? They're dangling the carrot of the vaccine above their head. And there's nothing that your president is going to do except to accept their terms and conditions in order to access the vaccine. Right now, imagine this. There is no other place to get Coca-Cola except from Coca-Cola. Why? Because Coca-Cola has the recipe for Coca-Cola. Who owns Coca-Cola? Warren Buffett owns Coca-Cola, my friend. Bill Gates owns Coca-Cola. They bought the shares. They own, they make decisions. Now, what's the next thing? Make a virus that has a vaccine and patent and own. They own the patent. They own the recipe to the vaccine of COVID-19. Now, they sell you that vaccine, my friend. And when they sell you that vaccine is basically history. They just print money off that thing. And they control the government. They're not only making money from it, but they're printing money and controlling the new world order. Ladies and gentlemen, my camera is about to run out of energy. I'm giving you a chance. Tomorrow I'm doing part three. I'm doing part 3. And if you want to catch this, catch it on Instagram, catch it on Facebook, and catch it on YouTube. I'm going to be posting it. I'm going to be doing part 3 tomorrow of preparing for the worst. We have to prepare for the worst as the kingdom of God. We have to prepare for the worst as the children of God, because this is only going to get worse if we don't catch a wake up, if we don't smell the coffee and realize that this is a pre-organized agenda. These guys had a 20-year head start to plan this thing. Bill Gates opened the Bill and Melinda Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 20 years ago. They've been working on all these type of viruses and vaccines for the last 20 years. They have had a head start. And Bill Gates made a statement. He said, you guys are not even ready for the second one. Wow, we're not even ready for this. He said, we will really take notice of the second variant of this thing. So ladies and gentlemen, I bless you. There's a number 1 rich kid Forex trader in Africa. Make sure if you want to join the Forex trading XNS social trading app, join. It starts with $10. I've already made 200%. You need to make crazy amounts of money during this time, because it's going to get rough. We're talking about a 7-year famine coming here, bro. We're not talking about a game. We're talking about a 7-year famine that is about to hit the world, where people will starve and end up eating their kids. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a joke. Read your Bible. This is just something that's happened before, and it's happening again. So understand that the wicked will never win. God is still on the throne. But you need to understand that the mark of the beast is upon us, and we need to apparently wake up, because we are taking it too lightly. So I'm going to be telling you guys all what I know, and I'll share and what I think. Tomorrow, catch me for part 3 and part 4. I'll be doing 2 parts every single day. So I wish you the best. Stay connected to remain protected. I love you, and shalom, 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 shalom. Watch it again. Peace out, guys. Peace out. Peace out. Love you, love you, love you. Shalom, shalom. Pray, pray.